instructor here at Strong Tower, and she is going to put me through a yoga session.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, the way I teach yoga is very much an alignment-based style, and I was trained in the tradition of BKS Iyengar, who is one of the original um, gurus, if you will, who trained with a very ancient teacher. The tradition that came down through them it's very specific, it's very pointed, and very it's slower in a way than a flow style of yoga, but the poses are, I use a lot of props so that the bones can line up in a specific way, and then we work on adding muscular engagement so that we can make sure that everyone is safe, that they're lined up in a way that you will get the most out of the poses. So we're going to start today with a sequence that's going to have some chest opening and some broadening across the collarbones, and then some standing poses that we'll be using some props with. And then I think we may do a couple of twists as well. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right, so Kelly is going to start on her back. And so I'm using 2 blocks for her here. You don't have to crawl to get to this, by the way. So she's seated, and then she's going to take her hands and place them one on either side of the mat. Now she's got a frozen shoulder that we're taking care of here. So I just placed a block right here under her thoracic spine and another like a pillow under her head. So I think you can see now that her chest is nice and open and her shoulders are just dropping easily. And Kelly, do you want something under your arm? So what we can do is more blocks. We can put something under her arm or her forearm. Do you want to lift up? Does that feel? I think that may feel a lot better. And then I'm going to put it under the other side so that, there you go, so that she has some, that she feels even. So now she's just going to take a few deep breaths and sort of center. So one of the things to consider with yoga is that it is more of a work in than a workout, although uh, it is always harder than it looks. And I believe everybody that's taken any of my classes will tell you that can be kind of difficult, but not to the point where it's awful, I hope. Um, so, so we spend a few moments centering here, taking another deep, full breath. And then, there's that moment of release, like, okay, there's nowhere else to go. There's no list involved here. You don't have to run off and go do anything else. Just be present. So now I want her to start adding a little bit of muscular engagement. So Kelly, begin now to squeeze your shoulder blades in towards each other on the back body. And then you can even see how just that much helped her to lift her chest. And at the same time, I would like you to get a pelvic tilt going. So begin to pull your pubic bone up towards your chin and engage the lower abdomen. So just that much also snuck in. Her buttocks engaged at the same time. I didn't even have to say it. Then I'm going to have you press into your heels and lift your your forefoot off of the floor. Is 4 feet like that's plural, right? For 4 foot. So that just sounded very strange. So press the heels down, engage the abdomen, pull the pubic bone up, and squeeze the shoulder blades together, and maybe, I don't know, breathe. So inhale and then exhale. Good. One more time, breath in and then release. And then I would like you to release your feet. And then to come out of the pose, it's very important that the head come up last. So she's going to place her hands, you're going to place your hands on either side of the torso, and then you're going to carefully lift up, keeping the head, and have the head come up last. Wow, I just felt something crack.
I know it did. It felt good.
All right, then I'm going to have you turn. You're going to do a downward facing dog. I'm going to have you put your hands in the blocks, but because there is a shoulder situation that we're trying to address here, we're going to strap her arms And if this strap is going to be pretty, it's going to be, yeah, a little more narrow. I want it to be like it's going to feel too tight right now, but that once she places her hands on the blocks and then pushes out into the strap, it's going to protect her arm and allow her to work the muscles in the arms and keep them aligned. So, um, so with that in mind, she's going to then walk her feet in just a touch and take your feet extra wide here. There you go. And then the idea in downward facing dog, if you consider in this pose, the weight of the pose is in the feet, it's in the heels. So press into your heels and then spread the toes and then pull your hips back using your chest. Now she's got this strap, so she's a little more restricted with this motion, but the idea is that she's also now going to continue squeezing the shoulder blades in towards each other like we did a moment ago, and then the hips pull back. And then if I wanted to give her a small assist here, I could help push her hips back just slightly so the weight goes even more into the heels. How's that feeling? Oh, I mean, we talk about this, put the weight in your heels. The full pose, the weight of the pose should be in the heels, but it's like almost impossible. And then you're gonna walk your feet forward towards the blocks. Good. And then I'm gonna have you just be in this forward fold, but I'd like to see if we turn the blocks up to a higher height. I think that will be better. So again, I'm gonna have her, yeah, that looks so much better. So you can see here, there's a little bit of rounding here. So walk your feet back just slightly. So yeah, this is a forward fold, but it's a forward fold that's addressing the shoulder issue in particular, which is not uncommon for any of us at any given time. So again, trying to get this sense of her first pose, she was laying over a block. So I want you to imagine that that same action is happening even here. And then still putting the weight in your heels. Now lift your toes up off of the floor and then get the pubic bone to do that tilt and engage the lower abdomen. And I don't know if you can see when that happened, her entire spine straightened into more of the natural shape of the spine. Take a deep breath here and then exhale. And then one more time. Good. And then I'm going to have you step back again into a downward facing dog. And yeah, we're going to put the blocks on the lower height, unless that was like problematic. I think that was okay. And now if you want to take the feet a little wider or a little further apart, and then here's the thing too, with her heels, now Kelly's, oh yeah, let's walk your feet in just a little bit more. Now we're talking. Okay, good. Now pull the chest back. How's that feeling on the hamstrings? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so if her heels were having any issues getting to the ground, we could put a blanket under her heels and that would help. So I'm just going to show what that might look like. If you're at home and your hamstrings are not happy with you for some reason, the last thing we want to do is make them more mad. Um, so just a little elevation, and it doesn't hurt to get that anyways, so that the torso can press back towards the heels. And again, the weight of the pose going into the heels. So I'm going to have you push into the heels and then spread the toes and even lift the toes up off of the ground here. Engage the lower abdomen. Squeeze the shoulders. Relax your head. So let your head just rest on that strap. Yeah, like that. It's a little bit of a crown, isn't it? And then, you know what she's going to do here? She's going to do a little breath work. Inhale and then exhale. Good. And then I'm going to have you come down hands and knees. So just come right down onto the knees. Good. And then, yeah, I think keep your hands on the blocks here. Yeah, and then move your knees back. And then, yeah, like that. Okay, and then here, how's the shoulder doing, okay? Okay, so then a cat-cow, so she's going to round out her spine here, and then at the same time, she's getting that pubic bone to pull up towards her chin and create a rounding in her back, and then she's going to come back to a neutral spine, and then she's going to arch her back. So now we know what the action is. So I'm going to net the next time. All right, so now we're going to add the breath to this move. So she's going to wait, I have to do it. She's going to inhale as she arches her back, and then she's going to exhale, 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 and completely round out the spine. And at the same time, she's going to be, just adding the breath. And then she's going to come to a neutral spine here and rest for a second. How's that strap on the arms? Do you want to try it without the strap at this point?
I can believe it.
Yeah, let's have you try it without the strap because you'll get a different range of motion and that might be useful to show. I'm going to move this out of the way. So now we're going to come in again. And this time she's going to add a little bit of a pelvic floor engagement. So when you inhale and you round out your spine, okay? So when you're inhaling, I want you to round out your spine and lift your belly up and lift the navel up and do that action of a Kegel exercise here. So you're lifting the entire pelvic floor up, and then as you exhale, relax everything, come into that arched spine. Good. Oh, I heard that. And then again, try one more of those. So inhaling and lift up the pelvic floor, and then exhale, relax, come back to neutral spine, and then go right into that arched back. Good. And then come back to neutral here. All righty. So then from here, you're going to come back into a downward facing dog just for a moment without the strap. And then see about pulling back here. So I just want to show the difference. When she doesn't have the strap, she gets a little more upper back engagement. Yeah. But it's not a lot. It's just enough. It's just very subtle. Good. And then walk your feet forward and stand all the way up. All right, so we're going to do a couple of standing poses today. So Kelly, if you'll face me. And so, so take your feet wide. So take your feet just like that. Then you're going to, this time we're going to actually have the blocks. Sometimes we do this with the blocks behind and then other times in front. And I may do both actually. So actually I'm going to start this way. I'm going to start with the blocks behind, sorry. I'm just getting myself figured out here. So then you're going to turn your right foot all the way to the right and turn your back toes in. And then you're going to turn to face me, and then you're going to extend the arms out. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So now what I want to see here is more turn to the pelvis, and then the left hip pulls back, the right hip forward. Take a deep full breath here. You can put this hand on your hip. So that kind of keeps it safer, right? Then when you come down, we're going to come into a triangle pose first. So she's going to have the high block. She's going to take this hand, and it's as though somebody's pulling her, and then she's going to reach the hand down towards the block. And now the block is going to come behind her calf. And that's going to give the chest a chance to open here. Yeah, just keep this on your hip. Now she's going to try and remember that she had a block in her thoracic spine a few moments ago. So now the other thing is I'm going to ask her to engage her lower abdomen and push into her back heel and push into the front heel. Take a deep breath here. Oh, I know. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm your helpful reminder, okay? Then from here, you're going to bend your front knee to 90 degrees. The option is to lower the block. And the block also goes more on the outside edge of the foot.
But stay turned to the camera.
Stay turned to the camera. You're going to stay turned to the camera. So I'm even taking this block, hold on, and I want to move it back just a little bit because it's a little unstable. How does that feel for you?
Good.
I mean, it's hard, yeah. So again, because her shoulder is wonkadoodle, we're going to keep the hand on the hip or wherever is most comfortable for you. That's good. So now she's still trying to get that upper thoracic spine to work, and she's pushing into both of her heels. How about that abdomen? And then maybe, are we breathing? Never. Take one more deep, okay, and you could get a little more bend in that front knee. So I'm looking to 90 degrees. So the bones are lined up, and then the muscles are engaging, and I can tell they are because she's starting to, she's wobbly. Not that much though. Okay, one more breath, and then on your exhale, you're going to lift yourself up. So come all the way up, straighten the front leg, square your feet towards the front, and then step together for a moment. Okay. So, yeah, we step together and we come out of the pose the way we came in so that she has a chance to realign. So we'll go after that second side. So take the feet wide, and this time the left foot will turn all the way to the left, and the right toes turn slightly in. So the reason for that is so that this hip has a little more mobility. So you'll extend the arms. Oh, look at that on this side. How about, yeah. Yeah. Boy, that's great. And then, yep, coming all the way over, take that left hand to the block. And the block is on the high height. So let's keep the hand on the hip for the time being on this side too. So let's even pull this, I want to see this pull back a little bit more. And this way, why is the block behind her calf? So that her hand is coming out of the shoulder, and that aligns the shoulder, and then the shoulder blades coming in towards each other. And then she's adding that push of the heels, and she's immediately adding, I know she'll never forget this, she's immediately adding her lower abdomen. Push into the heels, spread the toes. On your next exhalation, you're going to bend your front knee and come to 90 degrees. Then the block will go to the lower, a little lower height as needed. You know, you may need the higher height on this side. I think so. Yeah, that. So yeah, so the block now is giving her arm, it's making her arm really long so that she is much more aligned in this pose, and now she can work the muscles. And believe me when I say this, when you are working muscles and the bones are not in the right place, it does more harm than good. And of course, we're breathing and getting the pelvic floor to, add a little, on the inhale, if you think about adding that pelvic floor engagement, on the inhale and exhale, let everything relax. And then on the next exhale, you're going to lift yourself all the way up. So this is the hard part coming up out of these standing poses, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Always is for me. Good, and then step the feet together. So that's one variation to do. The next one I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put the blocks in the front. So we're going to do the same thing. So step the feet wide. And then you'll turn the right toes to the right toes. Turn your right foot to the right. And then you're going to come down, so you're going to come into triangle pose again, but the hand is going to go in front of the foot. So this adds a whole other dimension. Yeah, and let's keep that back hand on the hip for today. We'll add the arm action here if it's available. And then again, so now you can see her hand is slightly in front of the shoulder. So let's pull this back so it's more under the, there it is, yeah. It also feels better, right? So now for the top arm, if you're going to lift it up, it would go vertically in front of you like that, and then lift it up, maybe. But you know, this is way advanced for what your shoulder has been able to do to this point. So that's fantastic. Now, one more breath here. You're going to push into your heels. You're going to engage that lower abdomen. You're going to get the pubic bone to pull up towards your head, and then you're going to bend this front knee. And now the arm can help the knee to push back away from the body. And I recommend keeping that higher height on this variation. Pushing into the heels is going to help with the balance issue because having the block in front requires a lot more work. I think, personally speaking, it is for me. And then, so she's resisting back with her elbow into the knee and the knee pushing back into the elbow. And what that's going to do is turn her buttocks into a fireworks situation back here. So she's really, really putting a lot of energy into this moment. Take one more breath. And then on the exhale, you're going to slowly lift yourself back up.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Isometric.
Yes, it's very much an isometric situation. Yeah. So we'll try and add the arm on this next one. And So when you go into, I mean, if I show from the side, if you go into the pose and you're here, when you go to lift the arm up, you know, if we go this way, it's only going to go so far, right? So the way I learned is to put the arm in front of you and then lift up, and it's so much kinder on the joint. It does take an extra step, but um, I think it's much better on the joint. So never want to piss off the shoulders when we can avoid it. Okay, so come on down. We'll try triangle pose on this side. Triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana in Sanskrit, in case anybody was interested. And then the arm.
Legs are straight on this one, right? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always forget which.
The both legs are straight in triangles, correct. So think of triangle as a triangle, yes. So now we're trying to line up. If we're having the hand should be over the shoulder. It doesn't always make that point, but that's the goal, if you will. The front hip pushes forward, the back hip, this top hip rolls back. Push into your heels. Shoulder blades. One more breath, and then this hand comes back to the hip, and then bend your front knee. That's it. Yeah, now I'm looking for 90 degrees here. There it is. Yep.
Hard with long legs.
It is very hard with long legs. So pull this block a little further back.
Towards me.
Yeah, there it is. Now this elbow can help the knee, remind the knee, I should say. It's not really helping at all, is it? It's a reminder to work so pushing the knee back will engage more of the buttocks, but also get the pubic bone involved, lower abdomen.
I feel my shoulder, like I feel it working in the shoulder, which is good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
When I'm pushing elbow into knee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything we can do to help that shoulder open. So another deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift yourself all the way up and then square the feet and step.
It's just so much harder.
Yes, yes. So again, in this system, the way we work the poses is they link together, but they don't necessarily take on that flowing quality, which I do love a flowing quality to a practice. And a lot of times my own practice, I will do kind of a flow, but it incorporates all of this stuff. I just do it a little quicker, but I do like the idea of doing a slower, more controlled pose. So another one we're going to try here is a Parsvottanasana. So this one, the blocks are going to be on the high height, and you're going to be facing them. You're going to have your right foot in front, and your left foot's going to be back. And it's a little more modest distance here. Yeah, and so this alignment, she's got a heel to sort of heel alignment. So, and it's not quite as much of a distance as we did with the other standing poses. So we're going to start with her hands on her hips, and then Kelly, you're going to turn your chest towards the direction of the blocks. And here's the thing. We started with this lovely block back here. So I'm just going to give you the idea of what that felt like. So shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And this is I can see that it's higher than the other one still. Yeah, have that hand down. That's so much better. Good. Now she's going to get that same pubic bone engagement. So she's going to tuck that tailbone in, engage the abdomen. She's going to try and maintain this totally straight spine. This is harder than it looks. And she's going to bend from the top of her hip flexors here. She's going to bend down, and then she's going to land her hands on these tall blocks. Just like that. Yep. All right. So now, in this pose, you're still pushing into your heels. You're still getting the same engagement of the upper body, and yet what we want to do, this looks really good. So this whole area, we would like to see it keep straight, but she's going to pull the right hip back. Yeah, like that. So I think we could actually pull your blocks back just a hair. So you can see now her shoulders are more aligned over the hands. And she's going to push into her heels. And now she's going to really ask a lot more of her front foot now. She's going to lift her front forefoot off of the floor. Not 4 feet, 4 foot. Just one. It's a singular. So she's, by pushing into the heel and lifting the forefoot, you have more mobility in your hip. So now she can pull that hip back a little bit more. So the hips are not going to be completely level here, but the goal is to try that. And then she's still engaging here, and she's going to take one more deep full breath. And then as she exhales, she's going to release the front foot, and then she's going to step her back foot forward and rest in a forward fold here. So in her forward fold, I think you can see her hips are slightly back from her feet. So Kelly, move your blocks forward just a little bit, and then pull your hips forward with it. Yeah, like that. Yeah. That wasn't very clear, I guess. The other thing in a forward fold is for some people, having the feet close together is quite uncomfortable in the pelvis. So if you move your feet further apart, you may notice a difference. You may not. You may like one more than the other. It's always good to try different variations. And you can see too here, she's put the blocks on the medium height, which is appropriate. You could probably put those on the low height, Kelly. You may not even need them. Yeah, you don't need the blocks. So she can dump the blocks altogether because she's quite flexible in her hamstring. So you're leaning back a little tiny bit again. There it is, yeah. And you don't know this.
Do you think? Is that because my knees hyperextend, or did I just?
It might just be habit, and we're not aware of it. I don't think that one has much to do. So Kelly does have a tiny bit of hyperextending in the backs of her knees. So she works to keep them micro flexed, just a tiny bit, just so she doesn't overdo the back of the leg. Okay, to come out of this, I want you to push down into the backs of your heels and engage the muscles in your legs like crazy here. And then you're going to put your hands up on your hips, and then you're going to lift with a straight spine here. So this is quite different than the way I think a lot of the Pilates you're curling up. So this takes a little different kind of muscular engagement. There's another way to do that, which I'm going to show. So, we're going to do parso on the other side. Wait, sorry. Okay, left foot forward and the right foot back here. So she's getting this heel to heel lineup. And this is going to be good because they'll be able to see this hip now. So then she's going to take her hands to the hips. She's going to roll the shoulders back. She's going to have this helpful reminder of this block between her back or between her shoulder blades, and she's getting that engagement here. She's tucking the tailbone, engaging that lower abdomen. And then when she goes down, Kelly, I really want you to think about pushing into the heels. So now you'll keep this beautiful straight spine as you hinge, and she's really hinging right here from the top. So you see she didn't roll down into this. So it takes quite a bit of control. And she just self-corrected the hands so they're under the shoulders, which probably feels more, it feels safer, I think, too. It should feel more lined up. And so now you can really see her front hip when she's got that shoulders and hands lined up, that front hip. Now push into your front heel and lift your forefoot off of the floor, and look how her hip just pulled back even more. Pelvis. So pubic bone, that's what I meant by pelvis. Pubic bone, lower abdomen, squeezing the shoulder blades. Take a full breath in, and then exhale, let the front foot relax. And then we're going to step the back foot forward. And again, rest in that Uttanasana or forward fold. And so again, so you can have the hands as needed where they feel best. And same thing with the feet. So if you want to take the feet a little bit wider, it's perfectly fine. My hips at this stage in my life really prefer me to have my feet apart. It's just the anatomy that's turned into what it is, and I'm not sure how that all happens, but alrighty. And then hands to the hips with a straight spine. Come up, push down into the heels to lift up. Yeah. More work in the hamstrings. So another way to do that is to take a block, and then we're going to place it between your quadriceps like this. So turn to face your camera there. And then, so now we're going to, we're going to work the legs in a little different way. So now she's getting more of an inward rotation of the quadriceps, and then she's standing in the basic pose of all in yoga is called Tadasana, or I don't know what it's called in English. What is this called? I don't remember. Um, anyways, so she's got her legs are pushing into this block, and then she's got the memory here of the block between her thoracic spine, between her shoulder blades. The palms are turned out, and then she can bring the arms out just slightly, partly because of her shoulder, but partly because it really helps the lift of the chest. We're going to pull the rib cage back, engage that lower abdomen. One more deep full breath here. And then you're going to bring your arms in towards each other with the palms facing each other. You're going to bend the knees and lift the chest and squeeze the block here. So this is called chair pose, or Utkatasana. And as your arms tire, put them on your hips. I don't want you to overdo that action. And then inhale, exhale, lift and straighten, relax the arms. So I think with the block, you can really feel that inward rotation of the quadriceps. Yeah.
It almost, I don't want to say it makes it easier, but it makes it better.
Yes. So it's not that she can't do it without the block. She absolutely can, but I want her to get a different feel for those muscles. And you're moving them very purposefully. And I think, personally, I think when someone says to me, inwardly rotate your quadriceps, I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but okay. But the block, now I get it. Yeah, so the block, so again, Utkatasana, so you're going to bend the knees, lift the arms, and then you're trying to sit as deep as you can. So in a moment, we're going to do the same pose without the block, and she's going to work to still get that inward rotation, and this also prevents the knees from knocking in towards each other. And then lift all the way up. Okay. Now, we're going to, thinking I wanted to do something else with, oh, I know. I wanted to show that forward fold again and lifting up with a straight spine turn. Yeah, let's turn to the side. So we're going to have you come down, place your hands on the blocks. So now she's got the inward rotation of the quadriceps, and her legs have to work a little bit differently, but they have to also work, I think they work a little harder. So again, just to sort of that, one of the differences I've seen with the Pilates is that there's a rolling up of the spine from a forward fold like this versus coming up with a straight back, which is it's a key characteristic in the lineage I've been taught. So now she's going to push into her heels. She's also pushing into the mound of the big toe, the mound of the baby toe, and the back of the heel. So we call that kind of a triangular area. So it's the mound of the big toe, mound of the baby toe, and this back area of the heel. Now that's giving her foundation. It's like she's growing roots. And then she's squeezing the block in between the quadriceps. Then you're going to take one hand to each hip, and you're going to lift up halfway, and she's still working everything. She's working the feet, she's working the quads,
This adds a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, I think I work through my feet more when I don't have this, but I work through my legs more when I do have
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you want to do it again?
Sure.
Absolutely, of course.
So when I'm in this, am I
Yep.
flat back like you taught me with the block
Yes.
behind my shoulders?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean, even when I'm kind of hanging down, I know I'm flat when I lift, but when I'm down here,
Yes.
it's
Now,
straight.
if you take the blocks out from under your hands and you fold all the way in, there will be some of the rounding is going to happen. Things are going to, we're just not pieces of paper here.
Right.
But if you want to try that, if you want to remove the blocks and come down a little further, I don't know.
I like it, 'cause the
Yeah.
shoulder, I like it like this.
Yeah, the shoulder is happy. I'm happy. She's happy. Shoulder's happy. Okay, so again, working the feet, and then she's squeezing the block, one hand to each hip, then halfway pause even, and then bring yourself all the way up. So there's a stamping down in the heel in that action. So, if you're just standing and you do this, And then you lift up, you know, even with a straight back, if I'm going at it and I'm coming quickly, like I'm doing a vinyasa kind of thing, you lose some of that purposeful engagement. And it's not wrong, it's just different. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to have you, let's have you sit on the ground with your feet facing that mirror. And then I'm going to place some blocks behind you, and we're going to come into a twist. So let's have you bend your left knee first, and then have your feet. So let's make the feet about hip width apart here, and then this foot's going to be like she's standing on it. So stand on this foot. Then you're going to take your left arm to the inside of the left knee. She's going to do an open twist. So she's going to lean back. And I put another block back here to give her a little elevation. So when she starts, she's going to start to bend this elbow and lean way back. You okay? And maybe the floor is better. Yes, she's got longer arms, but that's also, as further back you can come, the better. So now I want you to, so now she's got the basic shape. She's trying now, I'm going to refine and remind her that she had a block in the back to begin with. She's still trying to get that pubic bone to lift up a little bit here. Yeah. Now we're going to counter resist the arm and the knee. So the knee is pushing into the arm and the arm is pushing back into the knee so that it's not there's no dullness to the pose, right? And there's also, by engaging the muscles, and oh, one more thing is to push into your right heel like you're pushing it down into the floor. All this muscular engagement in a twist is going to keep the spine safe and happier. Okay, one more breath. And then exhale, we're going to turn your head back to center and release. And then she'll go after that second side. So the left knee bends and she's going to take her, so it's your right knee just bent. Let's get this all mixed up. And then the left arm is back. Yeah. And so she's really, I like to call this the watching TV pose. So you want to lean way back, get yourself nice and comfortable. Right. So, and then we've got our block. So she's coming into this pose and making it look super cozy and comfortable, but I promise you she's working. So she's got this muscular engagement, this counter resistance. The abdomen really has to stay engaged here. And she's, honestly, she's lifting her toes up off of the floor because that's how hard her right heel is working, and I love it. Yeah. And left heel too. So left heel, left foot. Yes. One more breath. And then lift yourself up and then release. So we'll try the first side again, and we're going to do, so that was called an open twist, right? So an open twist is this. Now we're going to do the closed twist variation, which is to lift up. So there's a very purposeful lifting up. In fact, we even try to start with the arm up in the air, but not with your arms. So right arm is going to come to the left knee. You're going to lift your chest, and then you're going to start to turn. So now we're not leaning back on this one. So she's trying to keep this spine straight. And this is where she might want a block under her hand, even with very long arms. But it will help her lift. Oh, did you see that? That was just beautiful. Yeah. So now, this straight leg in the pose has to stay engaged. So it's as though she's standing on this foot. Yep. And you could even walk this foot out just a touch. Nope, towards the, yeah, and you had the right amount of bend. Yeah, there you go. And now there's a counter resistance with the bent knee into the hand and the hand into the knee. It's not, it doesn't need a lot to really wake things up here. One more breath. And then as you exhale, turn back to face me. We'll straighten this leg and take a moment, and then she's gonna try the other side. Yeah, so now her her right hand. This is so good. Yeah. So here's the thing with these poses too is we work on one part and other parts go, she's not looking. I'm just gonna relax. So this foot has to work. There it is. That's the one. And then again, this foot, you could probably walk it out towards my hand just a hair. Yeah, like that. And then she's got this counter resistance going to the knee. I know she has not forgotten her abdomen because she's a, you know, she's Kelly. She's the Pilates teacher. She never forgets that, but a lot of us do. So, um, and then the block under her hand really helped her to lift her spine here. And so this is called Marichiasana. I think it's a staff pose or something like that. So it's a powerful twist is what it is. One more breath. Alrighty, and then on that exhale again, you're going to turn your torso back towards the knees. Good. Alrighty. Yeah, and she just immediately wants to go to the next pose, and that is, we'll show some options here for this one too. So if you place a block, so she's going to do a straight leg forward fold here. I'm giving her this block so she can, the knees don't, or the feet don't have a chance to forget what they're doing. So Kelly's also got extremely flexible hamstrings, so she's going to lift up. And traditionally, you would lift the arms up over your head here, but again, we're just respecting the needs of this moment, which is exactly what we always want to do. And she's pressing into this block to engage the legs and the lower abdomen and the low back. So when she folds forward, she's not going to overstretch her hamstrings, hopefully. So come forward, and then you can see. Oh, and also we're trying to keep the back straight. So I'm going to give her some, as long as her arms are, they could be longer here, right? So this now allows her to keep her back straight. And she's pushing into the block, and she's managing to keep her shoulder blades really well squeezed together. Yeah, I felt that. And then the abdomen staying engaged. So again, we're respecting, this is the hamstring attachment that she's sitting on, and it's easy to overdo this one. So that's not something that we want to do. Okay, take another deep breath. Now, if she wants to come in a little more, you can start to let the elbows bend out to the side and then fold forward. Yes. And she's still keeping that muscular engagement. She's still keeping the back straight. One more breath here, and you can actually exhale again, and now allow the back to round out and let the elbows lift up in the air if that, yeah, there they go. So we lift the elbows up so that it gives a little more space in the chest, but also mentally it kind of keeps the body from collapsing. And when we collapse physically, we kind of collapse mentally. So we don't want to bum ourselves out here, in other words. Alrighty, and then on that next breath out, you're going to lift up, let go of the strap. And then we're going to bend the knees and lie down and finish up with some inverted poses here. So she's going to lie back, and she's going to have her knees bent. Yes, so her.
Way better already. Like just the shoulder relaxes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, it looks great. It really does. So we're going to do a pose that's first she's just going to rest her spine while I get all my stuff together here. So we're going to use a blanket now, and we're going to put it underneath her shoulders so it gives a little bit of a lift. And this is optional. This is not something you have to do in this pose, but it's a nice add. So yeah, just like that. So now her head is on the floor, and her hips are, her shoulders are on the blanket, her head's on the floor, and her hips are going to lift, and we're going to pop in a block. So we're going to start with kind of a medium height here, and it's going underneath her sacrum. In other words, it's not going under her low back. I think you can see that pretty clearly here too. How does that feel? So in particular for her shoulder situation, this is a very therapeutic pose for her. It's great to help open and relax, especially across the collarbones. If she wanted to, she could straighten her legs here and see how that affects the pose. So for some of us, That is too much on the back. And one at a time is also an option. And this is a brief period. It's not a long place there. So the block forces, in a way, it really pushes you to engage those abdominal muscles and to keep that pubic bone moving in the direction we want it to here. Um, with the knees bent, you do have to give a little more effort to that pubic bone area. So she's tilting her pubic bone without too much effort here, but some of us need a little more reminder. But Kelly does it just perfectly here. So the other option she has here is to turn the block up to a higher height, which would give her um, uh, much more of an inverted feeling. So you can see how her chest now is coming in towards her chin, and she's getting this lovely, you can see the line she's got here. It's just beautiful. And so she's getting this full benefit of having the blood literally is reversed, right? So it's going, instead of head to toe, it's going more, well, knee to head here, but you get the idea. The other thing she can do here is to come into, well, we're going to take that. So we're going to come down to the lower height first, and then I'm going to show them how you would do it. Yeah, like go that medium height first. Yeah. And then take it to the low height altogether. It does, right? Yeah. So, yeah, she was just saying how it's so different each level of the block. But I encourage you to try out, to at least try, if you're concerned about it, try the low height, and give the medium height a whirl. If that feels good, everything feels like it's well, give it a, try the higher height. Okay, and then she's going to lift her hips and remove the block altogether. And so we come out gradually so we don't shock the system. Kelly's going to demonstrate a log roll to come out of this, by the way. So many of us want to, as when we come out of a forward fold, we come up with a straight back. When we come out from laying down, we roll to the side and then lift up. A lot of benefits to that as well. Blood pressure is not the least of it, the worries, but also better for your back. We're going to finish our practice with a legs up the wall pose. So Kelly, we're going to either, you can we'll turn your mat. So um, I've been in love with this recent variation of legs up the wall. So uh, to come into this, you'll start on the side, on your side, and then you're going to roll your legs up the wall. Yeah, like that.
Like this is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she's trying to scooch her buttocks in kind of close to the wall, as close as you can here. And then I'm going to give her some options with her arms and stuff in just a second. But the most recent variation I've been at here is to take a blanket, and it's just a tiny bit of blanket. It's not a lot. I'm just kind of catching the edge of the blanket underneath her buttocks just to give her a little bit of a lift. And it's not a lot, and I have a pretty wonky back, so come on down, see how that feels. It's just a tiny bit, and my wonky back likes this, so I kind of use that as the litmus test. If my back is okay with it, then it might be all right. How are the arms here? Because we can support them.
All the work we did, like this lays.
It's laying completely flat. Kelly, I will tell you this. Kelly did this pose, what, just 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and we had to put our blankets and blocks under her arms to give her the support she needed, which today, look at her. She's just, that's amazing.
So much better.
So much better. What did you call it? The frost?
Yeah, it went from frozen to thawing.
She's thawing. Right, yeah. So in a pose, this particular pose is considered, it's another inversion. It can be in place of a shavasana. An eye pillow here would not be the worst thing to happen. Sometimes I will give people a strap, and we haven't done this, I don't know, Kelly, but this is up to you to put. You can put the strap just over the eyes like this, so it look a little bit like some green thing for Halloween. But it's just enough pressure across the tops of the eyes so that the brain now and the thinking brain begins to have a little bit of pressure on it just so it can sort of soften. And they say that when we soften the eyes and soften the forehead, we soften the brain. So based on the length of a practice, you would try to have kind of the guideline would be if you're doing a 35 or 40-minute practice, you want to do a quieter pose like this for a good 5 minutes. Longer is not going to hurt anything, but the idea is that it's balancing the practice, but also allowing the actions of the poses to seep into the system in a deeper way. And the way that happens is by being still. So our stillness invites the benefits of the pose to find their home. It is also true that in a quieter pose, the body may be ready to rest, but the mind wants to do things like scroll on our phones, answer emails, take a call, do a plan. There's many things. So we have to give the mind something to do. And so the easiest thing and really the most accessible thing is to get the breath involved. So you would use your very deliberate breathing. So a box breath is pretty common, and that would be an even inhale, an even retention of the breath, an even exhale, and then a pause where nothing happens. And it's kind of that beat between, it's the pause between beats in music. So Kelly's going to practice that really quickly for us here, and that would be a breath into the count of 4. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pause 2, 3, 4. Good. And exhale 2, 3, 4, and then nothing. There's just a 2, 3, 4. And then easy, soft, regular breathing. So that box breath series could be done as many times in a row as you like. It's often good to start small, start with 1 or 2 rounds of breath like that, and then easy, normal breath. But it's also something, I mean, you can do it when you're waiting in line at the grocery, when you're in places where you have to be still and you really don't want to be. So Kelly, place your hands on the heart. This is traditionally how I will finish my practice with students, is to breathe into the heart with hands placed there so you can literally feel the breath and feel the breath entering into the heart and breathe into a place of deep gratitude. And then placing the palms together, and in yoga this is considered a mudra or a seal, and so we place the seal above the forehead and say namaste. Namaste. So the namaste loosely translates to the divine in me honors and respects the divine in you.